Okay, so this is my new to me Echo CS 400, and I got this with a package deal basically, and the way I look at it is I got it for free. I didn't exactly get it for free, but it's a brand new unit that is you know, was left over for some reason or another, and you know, for years of sitting in a place where it shouldn't have been, it's gotten a little bit dirty and stuff, but truly this thing was never used. And I like little saws, and they sell really well, and I figured I would get this one and see what I can do with it, just with simple little mods that you guys can do. You don't have to be able to port and polish things. You just got to be able to run a propane torch or something and mess around a little bit. Got to be willing to explore. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this, I'm going to pop the carb limiters off. That way I can tune it as it needs to be. And I'm going to do a muffler mod and then put it right back in the wood and see how much of a difference it makes. I know that these things run a catalytic muffler and they are ultra restrictive. So let's just see what we can do with simple little mods. All right, first up is the carb limiters. The way that they limit your carburetor is they actually just limit your adjustment. So these little things, they get these little tabs on there, and you can, what I usually recommend is cutting those tabs off. I don't know if you can see that. Normally, I recommend cutting those little tabs off and then putting this back in place. But on this one, we're just going to toss them. Well, we're not going to toss them. We're just going to set them off to the side. Now, you may not have this tool. I understand that. But you can take these off too. You might have to get in there a little different, remove the carburetor and get a screw, get a left hand screw, right, where it turns in lefty-loosey, or it turns in lefty-tighty actually. Anyways, those are gone. Now I can tune the carburetor as I wish. Next up, remove the muffler. Now, like I said before, I do know that these things come with a catalytic muffler, and on the inside they have this honeycomb catalyst, and it is extremely restrictive. Whew, it's still warm. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to show you. Let's just take it off. There we go. Ow! Oh, it's hot! It's hot! There we go. You can see. All right. Let's see. Let's go with this. There we go. See that honeycomb in there? That is your catalyst that is extremely restrictive. We seek to remove. Take this off. It's hot. There we go. We can reuse that. And let's go put this in our vise and get to work. All right. We got it in our vise. This right here, this seam is above the vise table thing. Let's go ahead and take this off. Whew, again, it's still hot. That screw was burning me. Woo, woo, little screen. All right. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these little shark fin things. Yeah, I'm just going to completely get rid of them altogether. That is definitely enough of a hole for this little saw to breathe through. At least for now. All right, now how do we get this thing apart? Well, you know what? I have a real torch set up. I can cut with this, I can braise with this, all kinds of stuff. This is the real deal. But for a lot of you guys out there, this might be the best you can get. And if you don't know, MAP gas is what you want. Unless you're just doing like soldering for plumbing type stuff, MAP gas gets considerably hotter than propane. So you take your flat tip screwdriver that you don't mind ruining, because this will ruin your screwdriver. This one has already been ruined. All right. Try it again. There we go. Ta-da! And there's our ultra restrictive core. All right. I guess there's a couple different ways you could do this. You could cut out that core and then put it back together utilizing this whole shell thing, this whole thing right here. Or you could just put this back on and screw it down, which is probably what I'm going to do. We'll see. I'm going to turn off the camera, study it for a bit, let this cool down, and then make decisions. Yeah, I'm just going to put it back together. So I took it out. I cleaned out all the metal shavings. This is still hot. All right, now it's started, we're golden. That'll do it, right there. Now, all we got to do is take this and get it the way that we want it. I guess that's the way it went on. So all we're going to do is going to grind this portion out right here. Safety glasses. There we go. This piece right here is why the key ingredient why I decided to just completely remove this entire thing. Because this brace going across the front there will make it unlikely for my screws to collapse this muffler without this being in place, because this right here offers support. But since we got this nice bar going across the front here, that'll make our front a lot more sturdy and less likely to collapse whenever we screw it onto the saw. So let's go put it on. Okay, so there's our modified muffler. Ugh. Lord, maybe it'd be easier to look at it this way. There we go. Nice, clean, straight through, but not too big of a hole and not too small of a hole, I believe. So let's put it back on. See how she runs. Here we go. I believe this is gonna be the right way, I think. That is a crazy, weird exhaust port. These saws, you know, there's a reason why I've been thinking about keeping this saw. And that reason is pretty simple. They're actually pretty good. They got some pretty unique port things going on. Like this thing gets extra port timing for the transfers because the piston itself, the top of it, the sides are tapered down so that you get your transfers coming on. They come on earlier, as well as they shoot up towards the top of the combustion chamber a little bit better. So they literally did some port work with the design of the piston. So it's clear these were meant to be quite a step above in performance and run pretty good. You know, these aren't just homeowner saws. This might be a saw that a pro keeps in his bucket or takes up with him into a tree, but it's not exactly a top handle. It is still a clamshell design, okay, so I won't give it too much credit, but this is a pretty decent little saw. So now let's see what it does in the wood. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. One pull. I think that's where we'll run it. And, you know, it's all right. These, I've got a thing, if you guys don't know, anything less than low 40s, I think is just absolutely useless. There's just no point in it. Unless you got a top handle saw. All right, you're wanting to do one-handed type stuff. while you're in a tree, you're actually climbing. But rear handles, I just, around the 40 cc mark, like 40, 42, 43, that's about as low as I'll go, period. You know, Doug sent me a little Echo 310. I thought it was just absolutely useless. Now, are they good little saws? Yeah, they're good. It's just, I don't know, I'm doing big shit. I'm doing big stuff, and that to me is just useless. This right here, as it is borderline useless. Now, what I will say is it didn't have much of a problem pulling that chain at all through, you know, I mean, that's 16-inch bar, right? That's a 16-inch bar, and it was completely buried. Like, I would never cut something this big with this saw. I would use this to trim up little stuff on a big crown, okay? And so it's kind of an unfair test. Plus, this chain, nothing wrong with it. It's sharp enough. It's a semi-chisel, safety raker, tri-link chain. So it's not going to cut the best, you know, it really isn't. But, oh, it got tight, didn't it? Why did it get so tight? Did I put oil in it? Bone dry of oil. Oh well, that's me. That's what I do. I do stupid stuff. But is it worth keeping this saw? I think so. I totally think so. It's a decent little saw for sure. It did run better whenever I had it leaned. So, and the fact that it didn't lock up that chain completely is just amazing, because there ain't no oil in there. It's a brand new saw. I never put any oil in it. Yeah, make fun of me. Go ahead. But more to come on this. Maybe I'll port it. Probably the only thing, my guess is the only thing it needs is more intake. That's it. Don't do anything else. That's probably key. But it always fires right up. It's really nice. Got a nice easy pull, you know. Great little saw, you know. But it is kind of expensive. Like, I looked it up, and I think it's like $349. And I think that's what it is. I think it's like $349, $329, something like that. For that same price, you could get a Husqvarna 435. And just a little bit more, you could still get the 4910s, the Echo 4910s. It's just a whole different ball game of how useful the saw is. But I think that this is a useful saw, and I think that I'm going to keep it for a little while, mess with it some more, and maybe I'll port it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Probably just be something that I keep attached to Stubby, my little side-by-side. Something like that. Just something simple that I don't give a shit about. I can beat up and stuff. Yep. Or maybe I'll sell it.